Now, at this time, we're going to be putting before you the motion made by Messenger Jared Cornutt of Alabama to amend Article 6 of the Baptist Faith and Message 2000 to add elder/overseer alongside pastor. The Committee on Order of Business has scheduled this motion for consideration during the previously scheduled business time, which is now, Wednesday afternoon. And so, the motion maker, Jared Cornutt. Is that you, Jared? There you are. Microphone 2A. We will give you an opportunity to speak in favor of your motion.
Stand by.
Not this again. Okay. So you know the drill by now. They're on the way to you with a handheld microphone. Everybody stand at ease for a minute. We're getting a microphone to him.
Can you hear me now? All right. My name is Jared Cornutt. I am a pastor and messenger from the North Shelby Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama. Brothers and sisters, let me begin by making one thing abundantly clear. We should never take lightly the prospect of amending our statement of faith. The document has existed for almost 100 years, and it serves as the backbone of our doctrinal unity. In order to be employed by one of our entities, you must affirm it. In order to be a church in friendly cooperation with this convention, you must closely identify with it. The purpose of our confession is to bind us together on the consensus of our doctrine and practice. I'm speaking today in favor of amending that document, however, because I believe that we have unintentionally found ourselves with a lack of clarity that can be remedied by a small and non-substantive change. As we voted overwhelmingly yesterday in Resolution 6, throughout the history of our confessions, we have always recognized our churches have only two offices. The office of pastor, however, the language found in the Baptist Faith and Message 2000 was, in our first confession in 1925, referred to as bishop or elder. When this changed in 1963 to say pastor, we weren't changing our ecclesiology, we were just changing our language. The fact is there is only one office that is the leadership and oversight office of the church. And whether we call that role elder or pastor or overseer, they are all one and the same. The preamble of the 1925 Baptist Faith and Message said that, and I quote, Baptists should hold themselves free to revise their statements of faith as may seem to them wise and expedient at any time. I'm not appealing to you to change anything of substance in our confession. I am asking you to join me in clarifying it, to make clear that a pastor is an elder, is an overseer. The scriptures are clear. Let's be clear as well. Thank you.
Okay. So I have been informed that we have two microphones that are working. Microphone 3 and microphone 1. It's a Trinitarian system here, 3 and 1, that are operating. And so if you wish to be recognized by the chair, I would encourage you to go to microphone 1 or microphone 3. Microphone 3A, would you state your name, your church, and your motion?
My name is Don Meek, Parkway Place, Little Rock, Arkansas. My point of order is as follows. Robert's Rules provides guidance for ordered debate. One such rule is that personal names must never be mentioned in the course of debate. Earlier today, the name of a sister Christian organization was mentioned, and in a most disparaging way. Mr. Chairman, this is never in order. I would encourage my fellow messengers to be mindful of the rules of our debate, and to also make note that in such instances, the chair may gavel this assembly to order.
The chair is going to rule that your point of order is not well taken because we're not speaking about another person or about a member of this assembly. But listen, even if your point of order is not well taken, we want to have the highest level of decorum. And I'm happy to say on behalf of the chair, let us all speak respectfully of anyone that we're talking about. Thank you very much, sir. Microphone 1A, do you wish to speak in favor of the motion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Then give us your name and your church and go ahead.
Yes, Mr. President. My name is Brandon Watkins. I'm a messenger from Transformation Church in Waterford, Michigan. I wish to speak for the motion. Mr. President, it can be summed up into 2 words: ecclesiology matters. I serve as a bivocational pastor and elder of a church plant just north of Detroit, Michigan, in a lost place, in a place that is in desperate need of the gospel. And because of this, we must be clear on what ecclesiology means. We need to define what the role of the pastor is. And if we go back to the language of the 1925 Baptist Faith and Message, as our brother has urged us to do so, we will be providing clarification, especially in areas like where I serve, where there are all sorts of confusion on what does it mean to be a pastor. Brothers and sisters, I urge you, let us speak with clarity, let us speak with confidence. And so I urge you that we pass this motion. And Mr. President, I would like to call the question.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded to end debate and to move to the consideration of the question. If you're in favor of ending debate, would you indicate by lifting your ballot? You may lower them. If you're opposed, would you indicate by lifting your ballot? You may lower them. The affirmative has it. The motion carries. Debate is ended. We will proceed to consideration of the question. The question before you is on the motion from Jared Cornutt to amend Article 6 of the Baptist Faith and Message 2000 to add, quote, elder/overseer, end quote, alongside pastor. As many as are in favor, would you indicate by lifting your ballot? Thank you. You may lower them. As many as are opposed, would you indicate by lifting your ballot? Thank you. You may lower them. Those in favor have it, and the motion carries. We will now move to consideration of the motion presented by Randy Chestnut of Ohio to appoint a task force to study the impact of the 2009 Great Commission Resurgence Report. Is the motion maker at microphone 3? So we'll recognize microphone 3. Hold on just a moment. Do we still have a point of order at microphone 1? Okay. Give us
point of order
if you can
on
give us
this
your
motion.
name and your church.
Dean Schooler, Antioch Southern Baptist Church, Harrisonville, Missouri.
Okay.
I have a point of order on this motion. This motion appears to be out of order due to the fact that it is assigning for a task to another entity when there already exists the Committee on Credentials, which should be handling this.
Okay. So the chair finds your point of order not to be well taken because the convention can appoint a task force to conduct a study of the Great Commission Resurgence Report. This does not seem to, let me just ask, what other entity do you think has this responsibility?
The committee of credentials.
Okay. So the chair rules that your point of order is not well taken. Microphone 3A, the maker of the motion, would you, are you over there, Randy?
I'm here.
Great. 3 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Randy Chestnut, a messenger from Woodland Hills Baptist Church in Dayton, Ohio. Many of us were present in 2010 when we adopted the Great Commission Resurgence Report. That report had a title of Penetrating the Lostness. Many of us were excited about the potential changes and impact this would have on penetrating lostness. We have seen and heard many evidences of those changes in our reports from our mission boards. Additionally, we need to look back over the total time of what's happened in Southern Baptist life regarding evangelism and missions since the implementation of the Great Commission Resurgence. Since its implementation, our total number of baptisms has declined by 41%. The total number of church plants have declined by 50%. But more concerning to me is our domestic mission force. Our domestic mission force has been reduced by 52%. My concern is that many of these missionaries were in our non-South areas and our least served areas. One area I know that has been reduced is the number of associational missionaries. These missionaries were the contact with Southern Baptist life for these small and many times rural churches in these non-South regions. I don't know the total numbers, but I do believe that they need to have a voice on the impact. We have 41 state conventions. We have over 1,100 Baptist associations. I think this would be a good time to look back over the impact, the changes, the GCR recommendations, approved recommendations has made, and the impact it has made on relationships between Baptist entities. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion about this motion? Seeing none, we will proceed to the vote. Hold on. Microphone 3A. State your name, your church, and your motion.
Yes, this is for the next, after the vote.
Well, all right. Okay. Be patient, brother. It's fruit of the Spirit. All right. So, the question before you is on Randy Chestnut's motion to appoint a task force to study the impact of the 2009 Great Commission Resurgence Report. As many as are in favor, would you indicate by lifting your ballots? Thank you. You may lower them. As many as are opposed, would you please lift your ballots? Thank you. You may lower them. The affirmative has it, and the motion carries. James Merritt of Georgia presented a motion to authorize the president to appoint a task force to study the question of friendly cooperation in Article 3. Is the motion maker present at one of our microphones? Dr. Merritt? I've got two microphones lit up. I'm just trying to figure out which one is the motion maker has the privilege of speaking first. Are you there? Is that you? Microphone 1?
This is Bryant Wright. This is Bryant Wright, a messenger from Johnson Ferry Baptist in Marietta, Georgia. And James has asked me to speak for his motion.
Okay, so we'll go to 3A first, who has, would you state your name and your church and your motion?
My name is Dusty Devers, and I'm a messenger from Grace Community Church of Elgin, Oklahoma. And I am going to move to amend Dr. Merritt's motion as follows. Strike the two words broadly representative and add the following sentences. And I will email these so that we can get them on the screen. The committee will consist of 7 persons consisting of the president of the convention, ex officio, and request that Dr. Albert Mohler be the chair, 1 person named by the president, and 5 other persons selected by the chair and the president. The committee shall report its recommendations no less than 3 months prior to the next meeting of the Southern Baptist Convention. And I would like to speak to this if recognized.
Okay, please send a copy of your motion to the page. Is there a second? There is a second. Okay, we will open the floor for discussion. And to the motion maker, 3 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, any motion with a mandate that is this broad should stop us in our tracks. It sounds just like the motion made last year by Dr. Adam Greenway, the former president of Southwestern, to delay the decision on Saddleback. And it should be stated that Dr. Greenway affirmed on May 10th on Twitter that this would be the exact same play as his that Dr. Mohler so capably spoke against last year. The task force would be like a can opener for the Baptist Faith and Message, because this committee will have the power to tell us which parts of the Baptist Faith and Message matter and which parts do not. The Southern Baptist Convention of our grandparents and our parents could be fundamentally altered. Whatever the intentions of the makers, which I'm sure are positive, it is my belief that an issue as important as this must be driven by our tried and trusted theological leaders. And I can think of no one better to chair this committee than Dr. Albert Mohler, if he is willing. One of the chief architects of the Baptist Faith and Message 2000, and our clearest spokesman on this last year and this year. The majority of the committee should reflect our Great Commission priorities. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Microphone 1A with a motion or amendment. Would you please state your name and your church and your motion?
Yes, my name is Rhett Burns, messenger from First Baptist Church Travelers Rest in Travelers Rest, South Carolina. I would like to speak in favor of this amendment. I believe that we
Okay,
need...
just one moment, because the button was pressed for someone to make an amendment or a motion. So is there someone there who was seeking to make an amendment or to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we call the question on this amendment.
All right. So, is there a second? Okay. Question before you is whether to call the question on this amendment. As many as are in favor of ending debate and moving to the consideration of the amendment, would you indicate by lifting your ballots? Thank you. You may lower them. As many as are opposed, would you indicate by lifting your ballots? Thank you. You may lower them. The affirmative not having achieved 2/3, the amendment is or the motion is lost to close the question. So we'll move to continuation of the discussion. Microphone 1A, would you like to speak in favor of the amendment?
Yes, this is Bryant Wright, a messenger from Johnson Ferry Baptist Church in Marietta, Georgia, and James sends his regrets on not being able to be here this afternoon. Actually, he needed to repent of bragging about the University of Georgia winning 2 national championships, so it's probably better to have a different spokesman now. But, Mr. President, all through biblical history, beginning with the early church in Acts 15, there were times where the church was looking for clarity. And this is one of those times in Southern Baptist life. We have a wonderful Baptist faith and message, and yet at the same time, the whole idea of disfellowshipping churches for a multitude of reasons could become a very negative aspect of the annual Southern Baptist Convention meetings. And because of that, it just seems it would be wise at this point in our history to have a task force appointed by the president, who has been elected by the messengers of the convention, to study disqualification or disfellowshipping in light of the Baptist faith and message.
Can you pause for just a second?
Yes, sir.
So it sounds like you're speaking in favor of the original motion, or that you're speaking against the amendment. The amendment is on the floor right now. Are you speaking against the amendment?
I am not, and I apologize, Mr. President. I thought it was time to speak for the motion.
I'm so sorry.
My fault.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the proposed amendment as to the makeup of the committee, the appointment process of the committee? Is there any discussion about that? Okay. Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote on the amendment. Is the wording of the amendment up for you to see? Okay. Hold on. We have microphone 3A asking to speak against the amendment.
Yes, sir.
Please state your name and your church.
My name is Luke Holmes, pastor of First Baptist Tishomingo, Oklahoma, and messenger. I'd like to speak against the amendment because I believe as it was originally written was sufficient. I believe that our president this year has proved himself more than fair and capable of selecting a committee that represents a diverse portion of our convention. And I think he has given us no reason to doubt his ability to do so. For that reason, I move that we reject this amendment.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, the time for consideration of this business has expired. We're going to move to the consideration of the amendment first. Do you have the wording of the amendment before you? You do. Okay, very good. So, if you are in favor of the amendment, would you indicate by raising your ballot? Thank you. You may lower them. If you are opposed to the amendment, would you indicate by raising your ballots? Thank you. You may lower them. The negative has it. The amendment is lost. We will now move to consideration of the original motion unedited by James Merritt of Georgia to authorize the president to appoint a task force to study the question of friendly cooperation. As many as are in favor of adopting the motion, would you indicate by raising your ballot? Thank you. You may lower them. As many as are opposed, would you indicate by raising your ballot? Thank you. You may lower them. The affirmative has it. The motion carries. This brings us to the conclusion of this time of business, and we'll move now to our joint seminary report. I apologize, y'all. Our system is causing us to struggle with some things. We do have 2 points of order we need to address. Microphone 3A. Microphone 3A. Would you state your name, your church, and your point of order?
Yes, Mr. President. My name is David Morrill. I'm a messenger from Applewood Baptist Church in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. I couldn't get up here to argue against the motion when it was time to vote for that motion because there was a group of people in front. We didn't get to debate the actual motion itself.
Very sorry about that. The time expired, so it really wouldn't have mattered if you'd been able to get to a motion or not. So your point is not well taken. Microphone 1A, can you give us your name, your church, and your point of order?
Yes, Mr. President. My name is David Schrock, a messenger from Occoquan Bible Church in Woodbridge, Virginia. And I was standing here to give an argument against the motion, and there was not that opportunity to be able to speak against the motion that we were voting on.
Okay. We came to the expiration of the time allotted for this question, and so the motion or the point of order is not well taken.